Here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Tonight, the Padres take on the San Francisco Giants in the first game of a 3-game series. Our starting pitching matchup tonight for the Giants, right-hander Landon Roop, and for the Padres, right-hander Walker Buehler. Hi, good everyone. Sam Levitt with you from inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. First pitch coming up at 6:40 p.m. Coming up in the next 50 minutes, we have a lot to do. You'll hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen. You'll hear from tonight's starting pitcher Walker Buehler ahead of his Padres debut. You'll also hear from Luis Arraez, who is back in town with the Giants. And you'll hear from Padres closer Mason Miller following his first save of the season on Saturday against the Tigers. But first, it's time to set the table, brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971 with 3 locations, La Mesa Vista and Oceanside, and at FraserFarmsMarket.com. Well, 3 games into 2026, the Padres are 1-2. The Giants are 0-3. Let's begin with San Francisco. They're trying to avoid losing 4 games to begin a season for the first time since the team moved to San Francisco in 1958. The 1950 New York Giants are the most recent Giants team to lose 4 in a row to begin a season. Giants getting swept by the Yankees to begin the year. They scored just 1 run in 3 games against the Yankees. Padres, meanwhile, lost the first 2 games of their series to the Tigers last week, but bounced back with a win on Saturday. More on that in a moment. Last season, the Padres really dominated this series against San Francisco. Padres going 10-3 against the Giants in 2025, outscoring the Giants 67-31. Before we turn our full attention to tonight's game, let's quickly take a look back at what went down on Saturday here in downtown San Diego.
Did you miss what happened in the last Padres game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind on the Padres Radio Network.
Our starting pitching matchup on Saturday, Randy Vasquez for the Padres, Jack Flaherty for the Tigers. We had a scoreless game in the bottom half of the third. There were 2 on with 2 out for Fernando Tatis Jr.
Pitch on the way. Fernando reaches for it, lines it into right field and a base hit. Fermin is being waved around third. He's on his way. The throw comes into short and an RBI single for Fernando Tatis Jr. 3 straight 2-out hits, and the Padres lead it 1-0.
So an early Padres lead. Tatis on first base, Cronenworth on third. Manny Machado at the plate when this happened.
Here's the 2-1. Fernando runs, pitches a strike to throw to second base, goes into center field. Croninworth will come in to score, and the Padres lead it 2-0.
Padres had a 2-0 lead after 3 innings. From that point on, the story of the game became Randy Vasquez. He worked around a leadoff walk in the 4th. He struck out 2 more in a 1-2-3 top of the 5th, 5 scoreless innings, 8 strikeouts. Padres then loaded the bases against Flaherty in the bottom of the 5th inning after he walked 3 consecutive batters. Jackson Merrill grounded into a fielder's choice to make it 3-0. RBI for Merrill. Vasquez pitching a scoreless 6th inning, 6 shutout innings for Randy Vasquez in his season debut. 2 hits, he struck out 8. Walked 3, 91 pitches. Kyle Hart pitching 2 scoreless frames in the 7th and 8th. It was Mason Miller time in the 9th.
Odds a strike away. Here's the pitch from Miller. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Slider in the dirt picked up by Fermin. The throw to first is in time. Pods have their first win of the season. Craig Stammen has his first win as a major league manager. And how about a 2-hit shutout from Vasquez, Hart, and Miller here tonight? 3-0 over the Tigers.
A very nice way to pick up your first win of 2026. A 2-hit shutout between those 3 pitchers, Vasquez, Hart, and Miller, as Jesse said, and the Padres picked up their first win of the season, improving to 1-2 on this still very young 2026 campaign. As always, if you want to get involved on our pregame coverage, you can do that in a variety of ways. You can find me on X at Sammy Lev, SammyLev. Instagram DMs open as well. Same handle there. You can also comment on the YouTube stream on the 97.3 The Fan channel. Let me know who you are, where you're tuned in from, and if you have a key to tonight's game, I may just read your key to the game live here on the air. Let's go inside the Padres radio booth.
Let's take the pulse of today's game. Tony Gwynn Jr. joins us for a deep dive into today's matchup in our game preview. Brought to you by Amvutra. Ask your doctor about Amvutra and visit amvutra.com.
Well, Tony, let's begin with the headline heading into tonight's game, and that is the Padres' debut of right-hander Walker Buehler. He showed up in Peoria at spring training without a guaranteed spot on the Padres roster. He earned his way into the starting rotation. To you, what did Walker Buehler do throughout spring to earn this opportunity here tonight?
He showed an ability to adjust to being a different pitcher than maybe he's been in the past, and I think kind of embracing that change. And then he showed that he could still flat out pitch. I mean, he kind of had his full repertoire early because he was competing for a job. And so we got to see the shapes and the rhythm of it. And I just thought he did a masterful job of just showing that he can pitch with velocity or without it.
To you, and you alluded to it, he is trying to now be a different guy. And even during spring training, outing by outing, he was clearly going through the process of figuring out how this was going to look with a new type of arsenal, a new team. To you, outing number one against this Giants lineup, what will you be looking for from Walker Buehler that would make him successful tonight in particular?
That's the thing about Walker is even though he doesn't have the high velocity pass, he can still beat you in a number of different ways with the repertoire that he has. And I think he may not, I mean, he probably has a good idea how he wants to attack these guys. But I'm sure it's going to be a fill out first time through the lineup to kind of see, how he wants to attack. This is a lineup that on paper is it's not an easy lineup to go through. You got a lot of different styles of hitters, some really good ones. And I think he's going to fill that out early first time through to kind of see how he wants to attack this team. But as I said during spring, he showed he's more than capable of kind of navigating that through one time through a lineup.
Yeah, when you have guys like Adames and Devers and Arraez and Chapman and Lee in the lineup, the fact that this Giants offense only scored one run in their first series of the season, it is surprising. I do want to touch on Luis Arraez. We'll hear from him coming up in our pregame coverage a little bit later. But Luis, as we know, a terrific hitter, three-time batting champion. If you are Walker Buehler in the Padres bullpen tonight and throughout this series, how are you getting out Luis Arraez? Because, Tony, we know Luis, he's going to be motivated to put on a show these next 3 days.
Oh, he's going to be trying. There's no doubt, and I think Stam alluded to it, he's going to be trying to stick it to the Padres for these 3 games. And I think, Luis is one of those guys you just probably want to be facing him with no one on, right?
Yeah.
Because in a situation where a single can't hurt you, right? And I think as long as you're doing that, you can live with the results. But if he comes up with runners in scoring position, I think you're asking for trouble. And so I think that's part of the reason why he's hitting in that 4-hole today, because they're trying to find some ways to score, and they know that if they can get some guys on in front of him, he can likely do the job. And so I would say your biggest concern is just making sure guys aren't on in front of him where a single or one of his knocks can hurt you.
Let's talk about the Padres lineup, the top of it in particular, and Jake Cronenworth leading off once again today for a second straight game. This seems to be the plan against right-handers. Tony, I thought it looked really good in the win on Saturday. Jake getting on a couple of times, scoring a couple of runs. What do you like about Jake hitting at the very top of the lineup?
I'll preface this by saying they did face Schoolboy and Valdez the first 2 days. They have the ability to make any lineup look the way the Padres looked the first 2 days. But what I liked about Cronenworth being in the leadoff spot is the same thing I liked during spring training. He's going to give you one of those at-bats. You're going to most likely get a chance to see everything that pitcher has in that first at-bat if you're paying attention. And I just thought that the tone he set early in that game kind of was carried over through. And I felt like that during spring training. When he led off, it seemed like that tone was then carried on throughout the lineup, whether there was a bunch of hits followed or whether it was just a bunch of pitches thrown. We saw that pretty consistently. And I just think Jake is one of those guys who can hit really anywhere in the lineup. His approach is not going to change no matter where he is in the lineup. And, quite frankly, I thought he had the best of anybody's spring this year. And so watching him, he looked a lot more comfortable against Fromber than he did Schoolboy. Go figure. I think that's most everybody. But then he looked really good I thought against Jack Flaherty, and I expect to see the kind of same thing today. Who, they're facing Roop today, who is kind of like, and I hate don't mean this in a bad way, but he's a poor man's Webb. It's the same type stuff. Webb's going to sink it. Roop is going to probably run it a little more. Changeup is going to, Webb's changeup is nasty. He's going to dive down. Roop's probably going to do the same thing. It's going to be more sideways. And so I think these guys have familiarity with these type of pitchers coming up. I don't know that they had that with Fromber and or Skubal. They had it with Jack Flaherty. We saw good results. I'm hoping it's for the same thing here tonight.
Tony, good insight as always. We'll talk to you and Jesse coming up at 6:30 for this series opener. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Tony Gwynn Jr. joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on the Padres Radio Network as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 6:40. Another headline heading into this series. First time the Padres will play against new Giants manager Tony Vitello. Vitello, really one of the headlines in baseball heading into the season. He was hired by Buster Posey, the president of baseball operations with the Giants now in the offseason, straight from the University of Tennessee, where he had a ton of success. But really the first time we've ever seen a college coach go directly from collegiate athletics to the major leagues. So it's been a big storyline throughout spring training, certainly throughout this rough start for the Giants, who are 0-3. So the first time we see Tony Vitello as Giants manager here at Petco Park. When we come back, speaking of skippers, we'll hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen. A little bit later, hear from Walker Buehler, hear from Luis Arraez, and much, much more to do. It's Monday night here at Petco Park, game one of this 3-game series, and we've got a lot to do when we come back on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network. EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 6:40. EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Visit EcoWaterSoCal.com or call 760-350-3338. Oh, big headline of tonight's game, Walker Buehler, the longtime LA Dodger, making his Padres debut. Buehler showed up at spring training, a minor league contract. He earned his way into the Padres rotation with a strong spring, and now we get our first look in the regular season at Walker Buehler in the brown and gold as the Padres open up this 3-game series against the San Francisco Giants. With all that in mind, let's hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres skipper Craig Stamen. Served up by Sinley Food. If you've had better chicken, you must be a rooster.
Yeah, excited to see Walker out there in our colors and not against us. I think he's set up for a good start tonight. Looking forward to it. I know he's excited about it. Should be good.
Walker showed up in spring without a guaranteed spot on the team. What stood out to you about what he did in spring to earn this opportunity here tonight?
Yeah, I think number one was buy-in. He got here and we had a few things laid out for him, and he bought in immediately to the workout programs, the pitch mix with Ruben. And then we saw signs of improvement as it went. His last outing didn't go as planned, but the outings before that were kind of exactly what we were looking for. And so hopefully it's just one of those last outing at spring trainings, and then he gets back to who he is here today.
Does it say something about a veteran like him who's sort of like in the process of reinventing himself in a sense to take feedback and show the willingness to work with a new staff?
Yeah, I think so. I think he wants to be good. He doesn't want to go out there and keep giving up hits and giving up, runs. He wants to figure out a way to stop giving up runs. And so he's going to be, as a competitor, you're open to anything. And he was open to all that stuff. And I think, we'll see some good strides from him this year.
His fastball was upper echelon the first half of his career. Now he's had that second surgery. Doesn't have that same kind of fire in the tank. For him to be able to get guys out and understand that he can't do that again, from a pitcher's mental perspective, how do you reconcile that in your head that you have to find a different way to get guys out from where you've always done your entire life?
Yeah, in the end, you're just competing. He didn't probably have a fastball when he was 8 years old like that. He had to figure out a way to just throw strikes and get kids out. And so I think you take yourself back to make it as simple as possible, and I'm going to execute this pitch, and I'm going to compete. And it doesn't matter if I'm using a fastball, a curveball, a slider, a cutter, a changeup, whatever. I'm just going to execute it and see what happens from there.
Now that you're managing against Luis Arraez, what kind of challenge does he present as a player, as a hitter?
Yeah, well, we know he's going to put it in play. He might stat you a few pitches at the beginning, but I suspect that he's going to want to take it to us tonight, in this series and prove that we should have signed him back. But we love Luis. He was a great part of our team over the last couple of years, big part of our success. And so, it'll be tough to face him. He's a really good player. It's always tough to face really good players. And, maybe there'll be times where we're like, man, I wish he was still on our team. But, we got to go with who we got. He's a great player, and it's fun to compete against great players.
I know you weren't around entirely last season, but what stood out to you about kind of getting to know him when you did? You saw him in the clubhouse as part of this
yeah, always a happy guy, always someone that you thought would be really fun to be around. He's always saying hi, always had high energy, always focused, disciplined, dialed into the game. So from my perspective, he looked like a great teammate to want to play with.
That was Padres manager Craig Stamen as we get ready for the opening game of this 3-game series against the San Francisco Giants. First pitch coming up at 6:40. Let's take you around the horn.
Let's examine the most important news and the latest information you need to know in the world of Major League Baseball. Sam Levitt takes you around the horn. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Get ready for Major League winning when you join Valley View Casino and Hotel's Players Club and receive over $200 in free instant offers. Visit valleyviewcasino.com to learn more today.
Few quick headlines for you. Let's begin with what I thought was really the top item of the first handful of days of the 2026 regular season, and that was really, I think, the success of the ABS challenge system Seems like players have enjoyed it. Seems like fans have really enjoyed it. Seems like it has been a success so far. Let's take a look at the challenge results through Sunday. I thought this was interesting. For batters, they have been 42.3% successful on their challenges. For pitchers, they've been only 40%, only 5 of them so far. But how about this? Catchers, 64.1%. So by far and away, catchers have been the best at overturning calls. And overall, the overturn rate has been 53.7%. So just a little bit more than half of the challenges have been successful for the player that challenged it. So it's been interesting. It's been, I think, entertaining. And maybe predictably, catchers have been the best at it so far at 64.1% with the overturn rate. Couple of other items for you. The Blue Jays struck out 50 batters in their opening series against the A's. That set a new major league record for strikeouts in the first 3 games of a season. And 21-year-old Cooper Pratt, the Brewers' number 4 ranked prospect by MLB.com, is reportedly closing in on an 8-year contract worth north of $50 million. And that's a look at some of the headlines from around the major leagues. We will have a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard coming up in just a little bit. When we come back, we hear from former Padre and current San Francisco Giant, batting cleanup for the Giants here tonight, Luis Arraez. We catch up with Luis when we come back. Plus, a little bit later, hear from tonight's starting pitcher, Walker Buehler. That and much, much more still to come on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show. This is the Padres Radio Network. EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. First pitch coming up at 6:40 between the Padres and San Francisco Giants. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. Walker Buehler on the mound for the Padres today. Landon Roop on the mound for the Giants. The first meeting between these two NL West opponents here in 2026. Everybody having a good time tonight here inside the loft, enjoying their beers and their mixed drinks and all the great food they have to offer here in downtown San Diego. I see a guy with a Dave Winfield jersey on in front of me. I see a Trevor Hoffman jersey over there, a Manny Machado jersey over there, and it's been a lot of fun so far, the early part of this season, seeing so many of you here at the Western Metal Building, and always feel free to come say hello and chat, and always good to take photos and see so many of you. So please do come say hello to me here at the Western Metal Building throughout the rest of the season. Thankfully, we have a long, long way to go here on March 30th. Let's take a quick look at the injuries for the Padres heading into tonight.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at badafulkerson.com.
Well, so far, the Padres have not had any injuries in the regular season as far as guys on the active roster. So, kind of one of those situations where no news is good news. But as you probably know, a lot of guys on the IL right now that are pretty close to coming back, put on the IL out of spring training. Matt Waldron struck out 3 over 3 shutout innings for AAA El Paso on Friday. Infielder Sungmoon Song, who has been on the IL with an oblique injury, he began a rehab assignment with AAA El Paso late last week. Jason Adams should begin a rehab assignment pretty shortly at AAA, working his way back from that ruptured left quad injury last September. Sounds like he will be back very soon when he's eligible as well. Yuki Matsui still dealing with a left groin strain that he suffered early in spring training. He continues to face hitters at extended spring training. And Joe Musgrove played catch last week for the first time since his only spring training start in early March, and Joe continuing to work his way back after taking a little pause while working his way back from the Tommy John surgery in late 2024. So hopefully Joe will be back soon. Same thing hopefully for Yuki and Jason Adam and Song and potentially Matt Waldron. We'll see what happens with all that. That's a quick look at the injury updates for the Padres. But as far as the active roster, really nothing new to report, which this time of year is good news. Luis Arraez is in town with the San Francisco Giants. Of course, Arraez traded from the Marlins to the Padres in May of 2024. A big part of the Padres in 2024, a big part of the Padres in 2025. He ended up signing a one-year, $12 million deal with the Giants in February of this year. And Arraez batting cleanup tonight for the Giants. And Luis, certainly from my standpoint, really a good guy to get to know the last couple of years. Always very good with the interviews and with the fans. And I do think somebody that was very well liked by Padres fans, and certainly has a very vibrant personality and always very, very friendly. Luis Arraez spoke with the media here at Petco Park before tonight's game and before his return as an opponent.
It feels amazing because the weather, I see the players that I played last year, everybody. I can't wait to see the fans what they can get for me today. So I'm really excited to be here again.
You've given so many hugs. There's been so many fans that have called your name. What has that been like?
It's a lot of emotion, I think, today, especially for me. When I'm playing in a team, I feel everybody's a family. And then San Diego Padres last year and 2024, they are my family. And then now I have another opportunity with San Francisco. And then I just need to come here and then enjoy myself, enjoy the game.
Craig Stammen said that you probably want to stick to the Padres, show them that we never should let you go. How much do you want to go ahead and show them what they're missing in seeing Luis Arraez?
And I think I just need to come here and enjoy, and I talk to the other players and the trainers, everybody, and then they know I love everybody there. They give me a lot of opportunity. They protect me. And I want to say thanks God for the opportunity, and then I have a lot of more friends here. But now I play the other side, and then I need to go there and enjoy.
Luis, you were a part of 2 90-win teams in San Diego, 2 playoff appearances. When you reflect back on your time as a Padre, what will you think of?
Oh, amazing. San Diego, AJ put a good group, especially inside the clubhouse. We have a really good relationship there. And it is what it is. This is business. That's why I'm signing with San Francisco. They give me a big opportunity to go back to second base. And I know AJ still love me. I know. And then the other thing is, baseball is fun. It's hard, but it's not impossible. We just need to go there and try to do the things and enjoy.
Luis, I know a lot of people you've gotten to reunite with and get to see here. Any specific people that you were most excited to see this trip?
I think everybody, but I think more Bogart, Sander, Taris, Manny, Jackson. I mean, everybody, Cheese, Laureano, everybody, especially the coach staff. I know it's a lot of new people there, but they was in the minor league side, and I talked a lot with them. And I'm excited for those guys, especially for Padron. He's a new hitting coach there too. So I wanna say congratulations to him, and then nothing. I wish you the best to everybody there.
I know the Padres had some interest in bringing you back. Was there a point during the offseason you thought you might be back, and was there any disappointment that it didn't work out that way?
Yeah, they call me a lot. AJ called me. We talk a lot. Yes, they want to sign me back, but I want to go back to second base. I think it's a big opportunity for me, for my family. And then, I signed it for 1 year. I don't know what happened later.
We saw teams in the Real Baseball Classic, of course. I'm sure that was a lot of fun. What's it going to be like playing against him in Petco Park? How different would that be?
It's different because we represent our country, especially play versus Dominican. It's a lot of fun, a lot of energy. But Petco is the best. Petco, every day is full. The crowd is loud every day, so it's not too different. But the baseball classic is a lot of fun, especially when we represent our country.
What do you miss the most about living in San Diego?
I think the weather, and then the fans.
That was Luis Arraez earlier today inside the Giants dugout. Luis back in a Giant uniform here at Petco Park, and he'll play against the Padres for the first time since being a Padre, batting cleanup, playing second base tonight for San Francisco. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. Let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
We have a couple of finals already today. Reds beat the Pirates in Cincinnati 2-0. Royals beat the Twins 3-1 in Kansas City. Games going on right now. Rangers ahead of the Orioles 4-2 in Baltimore in the ninth inning. White Sox leading the Marlins 9-4 in Miami in the ninth inning. Nationals lead the Phillies 9-2 in Philadelphia in the eighth. The Rockies lead the Blue Jays 5-1 in Toronto in the sixth inning. Braves lead the A's 3-0 in Atlanta in the seventh inning. Cubs blanking the Angels 6-0 in Chicago in the fifth. Brewers 2, Rays 1 in the sixth inning in Milwaukee. Mets ahead of the Cardinals 2-1 in the sixth inning in St. Louis. Astros 3, Red Sox 0 in Houston in the fifth. Games yet to begin aside from this one. Yankees and the Mariners in Seattle at 6:40. Former Padre Ryan Weathers making his Yankee debut in Seattle. Guardians in LA against the Dodgers at 7:10. And finally, Tigers in Arizona against the Diamondbacks at 7:10. Justin Verlander making his return as a Tiger on the mound tonight in Phoenix. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. More on those games coming up in our post-game coverage. When we come back, you'll hear from tonight's starting pitcher, Walker Buehler, ahead of his Padres debut. You'll also hear from Padres closer, Mason Miller, about his first save and his first entrance. It was electric here at Petco Park on Saturday night. We'll also tell you what to watch for in tonight's game, our keys to the game, and much, much more to come. First pitch coming up at 6:40 right here on the Padres Radio Network.
We'll be right back to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show.
Padres baseball coming up here on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. First pitch at 6:40. Padres taking on the San Francisco Giants. Game 1 of this 3-game series. Walker Buehler on the mound tonight for the Padres, about to make his Padres debut. We'll hear from Walker Buehler coming up in just a little bit. We'll also hear from Mason Miller. Tell you what to watch for in tonight's game and a full breakdown of tonight's starting pitching matchup between Walker Buehler and Landon Root. But first,
how will the Padres unlock a win today? These are the keys to the game on the Padres Radio Network.
Key number 1, don't let the Giants offense get going. The Giants offense has been brutal early this season. They're hitting just 143 as a team in their first 3 games of the year. They scored just 1 run in their 3-game series against the Yankees. They have not hit a home run yet in 2026. They've got Patrick Bailey, their catcher, Casey Schmidt, who is in the lineup tonight as well. Both hitless so far. Willie Adames, their leadoff man, is 1 for 11 to begin the year. Jung-Hoo Lee is 1 for 10. It has not gone well so far offensively for the Giants. Do not let the Giants offense get cooking here tonight. That's key number 1. Key number 2, be good against Luis Arraez. Arraez is 3 for 11 with a walk so far this season. Arraez spent most of 2024 with the Padres, all of last season in San Diego. He hit .292 last year in a quote-unquote down year for Luis, coming off 3 consecutive batting titles where he hit .328 over the course of 3 seasons. You just know, Luis Arraez will be motivated tonight to not let Luis have a big night. Key number 3, a rake-in Ramon. Ramon Laureano had 3 hits on Saturday night. Laureano now 5 for 12 with a double and a home run to begin the season. Laureano once again batting 7th here tonight. Done a nice job out of the bottom of the lineup. Some production out of the bottom of the lineup could go a long way here tonight. Key number 4, a Jake Jolt from the leadoff spot. Cronenworth back in the leadoff spot tonight. He did his job on Saturday, hitting there for the first time since May of 2023. Cronenworth had a hit, a walk, a couple of runs scored. Jake Cronenworth setting the tone out of the top spot in the lineup is key number 4. And that's a look at our keys to tonight's game with first pitch coming up at 6:40. Well, Walker Buehler showed up to Peoria, Arizona, and without a guaranteed spot on the Padres roster, he earned his way into the starting rotation. The longtime Dodger about to make his Padres debut here tonight. Here was Walker Buehler on his spring and getting to this point.
Kind of starts with a good offseason and starting to feel healthier, and obviously he and I have done a lot of work this spring on kind of what we think I can be and what that looks like. So kind of put that into real world testing, I think is exciting, and spring didn't end quite the way I wanted, but sometimes I think that's not the worst thing either.
Walker, outing by outing during spring, we asked you about your pitch mix and using the fastball heading into your first regular season start. What's your mindset as far as potentially, without giving too much away, how you want to use your arsenal?
I think it's going to be some sort of mix and match. I think there'll be days that I have better velocity and days that I have a little bit less, and hopefully I can be a little bit, more like I used to be when the velo's in there. But, when it's not, we kind of mix and throw strikes and compete. And, the velo was down a little bit my last spring start, but, I think there's a lot of factors that go into that kind of stuff. And, I know everybody's going to be excited and me, myself personally on Monday for sure. So hopefully get the adrenaline and the butterflies and all that kind of good stuff. So certainly looking forward to it.
That was tonight's starting pitcher, Walker Buehler. We'll talk even more about Buehler in just a little bit. Right now, let's tell you what to watch for in this series opener.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For. Presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovements.com.
What to watch for tonight? We zero in on Manny Machado, tonight's third baseman, batting third. Manny was great against the Giants in 2025. He hit .373 against them in 51 at-bats last season, 11 RBIs in those 51 at-bats. Manny off to a nice start so far this year. He's reached safely in 6 of his 12 plate appearances to begin the season. So Manny Machado, what does he do against the Giants after a very strong 2025 against San Francisco? That's what to watch for in tonight's game. Well, a highlight from Saturday night, both here at Petco Park and really across the country on social media, was the new entrance for Mason Miller, Padres closer. Mason picking up his first save of 2026 on Saturday against the Tigers, protecting a 3-0 lead. Mason Miller entering the playing field here at Petco Park to the song Blind by Korn. The light show here at Petco Park, it was electric, and it seemed like everybody both here in San Diego and beyond absolutely loved it. Here was Mason Miller earlier today on the first time he heard the song by Korn.
I mean, it's a little scary for sure. So that's kind of captures a good, ominous vibe coming in the game. So it's been cool to see how much it's, kind of been blasted everywhere. So that's reassuring, I guess. You always want to have people enjoy the song. So,
were there any other finalists under consideration for you?
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna keep those in case I have to change. Maybe we'll capture the same anxiousness everybody had for it.
What was it like running out to it the other night? Like, were you focused on the song at all? Or were you hearing it at all?
I mean, music is what it is, but you just kind of feel the energy of the moment, and going in the game. First game for me this year too, so just anxious to get out there and pitch.
Were you a Korn fan before? Did you know the song, or maybe it was before you were born?
Yeah, before I was born. So I think I've probably heard it. I was telling Dennis that I saw a documentary on the Woodstock thing probably 6 years ago now. So I did know of it, but I was not familiar with it by any means.
Who were the clubhouse managers in particular that introduced you to it?
I think TJ Leela was he was the head of it for sure. Tree and Cole both were big on it too. So it's good. They bring the energy in here every day. So obviously I was going to hear them out, and it worked out.
Great to hear about those clubhouse guys getting involved. They made a great selection, brings the energy, and we'll see if Mason Miller has an opportunity to pick up his second save of the season here tonight. Our starting pitching matchup, Landon Roop on the mound for the Giants, Walker Buehler on the mound for San Diego. Let's dive in.
Let's break down how today's starters are shaping up with our starting pitching preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Right-hander Landon Roop, 27 years old, on the mound for the Giants. In 2025, he went 7-7, a 3.80 ERA, 22 starts, 106 2/3 innings, 102 strikeouts, 45 walks. Just 3 of those starts came after the All-Star break because of elbow and knee issues. The Giants lost each of Roop's 3 starts against the Padres last season. Roop a 6.23 ERA in those 3 games. So the Padres hit him well last season. We'll see if they can do that again here tonight. Meanwhile, on the mound for the Padres, right-hander Walker Buehler, 31 years old. He was one of the best pitchers in baseball his first 6 seasons with the Dodgers, a 3.02 ERA from 2017 to 2022 with LA. But then he had his second Tommy John surgery in August of 2022. Since then, a 5.10 ERA. Last year, he signed a 1-year deal with the Red Sox at a 5.45 ERA in 112 innings. Ultimately got released. He then signed with the Phillies, went 3-0 with a 0.66 ERA in 13-plus innings with Philadelphia to finish the season. He then showed up to Padres camp this spring on a minor league deal, earned a spot on the roster and in this starting rotation, and now Walker Buehler gets his first regular season opportunity tonight in a Padres uniform. And that's a look at our starting pitching matchup here tonight. Walker Buehler for the Padres against Landon Roop on the mound for the Giants. Back in the leadoff spot tonight, Cronenworth did a very nice job there on Saturday. Here was Cronenworth earlier today inside the clubhouse with me.
Jake, back in the leadoff spot tonight. How do you like being in that spot here in the regular season?
Yeah, it's been fun, man. I enjoy doing it and kind of setting the tone for the game, and it's been fun.
Do you have a different mindset when you kind of have that role of quote-unquote setting the tone?
Not really. I try to take the same at-bat wherever I'm at in the lineup, obviously situation dependent. But, that first one's kind of a tempo setter.
The team's defense the other night was really exceptional. We talked so much about offense and what the potential of the lineup is, but defensively, what do you feel like the potential of this group is?
Yeah, I think you look around the diamond and the athleticism that we have and the pitchers that we have, and, for them to have the comfortability to just pound the zone and rely on us back there to make the plays is I think that kind of makes what that chemistry and continuity is on defense for us. But no, I think the ability for us to go out there and do what we did the other night on a regular basis is there.
Going back to the offensive side of your game, you had a really nice spring. What do you feel like even going back to the start of spring has worked early on so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think my bat path, I think, some of the balls you saw me hit in the series there, the base hit I had off Framber, the hit I had off Flaherty the other day, I think it just allows me to win with my path, not necessarily trying to get to a specific pitch in a specific spot.
That was Jake Cronenworth earlier today inside at the Padres clubhouse. You've been listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres radio network. Padres getting their first win of 2026 on Saturday. Now they welcome in the San Francisco Giants for game one of a 3-game series. First pitch coming up in just a little bit. When we come back, Jesse Agler, Tony Gwynn Jr., ready to go inside the broadcast booth. They'll have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play. I'll talk to you on our post-game coverage. You're listening to your home for San Diego Padres baseball, 97.3 The Fan and the Padres radio network.